It's like that idea of energetic alchemy, and I would love to know your take on that.
Yeah, so alchemy is something that I'm very passionate about. I feel like this is a gift that I've had for many lifetimes of just being able to sit with my emotions, feel them and feel them all the way through. So the process of alchemy, like in the human world, is, you turn lead into gold. You turn a non-desirable substance into something desirable. So it's taking our quote unquote negative emotions or difficult emotions and transmuting them into gold, into power, into confidence, into whatever was dimmed when that painful experience happened. But in order to do that, we have to feel the feeling. And it's very important, this next part, all the way through, because this is where I see people get stuck. People get stuck just processing it in the mind, first of all, right? Which journaling is great. I love journaling. I love mindset work. That's how I got started in all of this. But that's just one layer, right? So people will get stuck in the mind, and then people will get stuck in the awareness of their emotions also. So I think this is where a lot of therapy stops, of just, oh, here's why you feel that way, and here's what happened. But the alchemy occurs when you go into the pain that was stored there and you let it come up into your body again and you feel it all. But this time you're feeling it from the perspective of, I am releasing this. I am safe now. I am reparenting myself as I am feeling these very difficult emotions leaving my body. And that's where the alchemy happens.
Okay. That's very powerful. The session I had with you, the session I have with everyone, my pain point is like unworthiness. And I always am like, no, my self-worth is so good. But it's just like having to prove something to someone and just being like, I don't have anything to prove. I process it. Like you said, I journal it, but being able to say like, okay, it's here. Okay, now I release you. I don't need you anymore. You're not keeping me safe. You're holding me back.
Yeah. So I would even say that that's still the surface.
Okay.
Because what you want to do, and this is what I work with my clients on, because so many people get stuck here. And so I'm so passionate about it, because there's this whole underbelly that people are not seeing in the subconscious. So we can tell ourselves we're confident all day long. We can tell ourselves all these things all day long. We can say, oh, okay, I'm ready to release that. Just let that go. But you have to go back to the memory, and there may be multiple. There may be layers of memories of feeling unworthy. So you've got to like sit with those parts of you if you ever get triggered into that, or for you, if it's feeling like you need to prove yourself, you need to catch yourself in that moment. Okay, I feel like I need to prove myself. Then close your eyes, sit with that part of you that needs to prove itself. Start asking it questions. Why do you need to prove yourself? What does that give you? What are you afraid will happen if you don't? And you just take your time, like you're talking to a little kid, trying to understand what's wrong with this little kid. And you keep digging and you keep digging, and eventually you'll get to the wounded part. And there may be tears, emotions flowing. There may be some kind of energetic shift in your body. You'll feel something shift once you see the root of that wound.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like I'm going to have to think about that. I'm going to have to come back to this and go through like a meditation session with myself around that
Yes.
or something. Yes,
Yeah.
I feel that, because you're right. I don't think I've been dealing with it below the surface. It's been like a very surface level thing, and that's why it keeps coming up. And I know like it's going to keep happening until you actually work through it. And it's like, how do I break through this? Because it's
Yeah.
been blocking me for years.
Yeah. A good resource to get started with this is Internal Family System. There's a book by Richard Schwartz called No Bad Parts, that he's a therapist, but he's also very spiritually connected. So I really resonate with him in that respect, because he created this whole process that goes deeper than just talk therapy into your wounded part.
I listened to Gabby Bernstein, and I know it was in her book. I've heard when he was on Almost 30. So like I'm very aware of his work, but I think that is something that is like, oh, I've heard of that, but maybe I need to dive into that a little bit more.
Yeah, it's game changing.
Okay. So would you start with the book, or would
Yes.
you?
You could
Okay.
also go to his YouTube. He has a bunch of lectures that he's done, so you could watch some of
Okay.
those too. Yeah.
Awesome. I'll make sure all this is in the show notes too. Welcome to Floatactivity, the channel that guides you on a transformative journey towards spiritual wisdom, self-development, and healing practices, all aimed at elevating your intuition and aligning you with your soul's purpose. I'm your host, Kara Dempsey, and I'm thrilled to have you joining me today as we learn together.